Greetings to all of you, my dear sisters and brothers, and my dear friends, and all of you are welcome. This is your Pastor Yeti. So we are in our Prosperous Soul, the Joseph principle. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has, will be taken away from him. To put the Joseph principle to work, you are taking a step beyond what is typically accepted financial behavior and catapulting yourself into the extraordinary. This is what I want to talk about today. How do we have an extraordinary spirit? This is the foundation for practicing the Joseph principle in your life. It's more than a formula. It is a perspective. If you can operate in the extraordinary wisdom that God has made available to you, making unusual decisions while everyone else is going with the flow, you not only position yourself for prosperity, but you can also become a place for refuge and blessing to others who are experiencing difficulties in their life. In short, the practice of Joseph's principle means to save when everyone else is spending. Living by this principle is operating from a place of godly wisdom where you are able to discern when to save, how much to save, and what to specifically invest in. In Genesis 41 verse 33, we see the qualities of one who practices the Joseph principle. So, Pharaoh needs to look for a wise and experienced man and put him in charge of the country. Pay attention to the description of the person Pharaoh is seeking. One who is wise and experienced. Other translations uses the word discerning. Joseph's wisdom prepared Egypt for both the prosperous times and the hard times that were soon to come. As we notice in the life of Joseph, he implemented a strategy that ultimately saved Egypt's economy during a time of great famine. This wisdom not only spared Egypt, but also elevated it to become a world superpower. Egypt became a shade tree that others could take refuge under during the time of famine. And this is what brought Jesus' family to the land and ultimately led to their memorable reconciliation. Let's take this beyond money for a moment, I say. You will only manage your money to the degree that you embrace this principle in every area of your life. When Joseph received divine dreams, but he also experienced significant positions and oppositions. He was called by God to accomplish extraordinary things, but he also positions himself for promotion. The key was his extraordinary spirit. For Joseph, it was all about attitude, perseverance, and excellences. From being thrown into the pit by his own flesh and blood and sold into slavery, to being falsely accused of rape by Potiphar's wife, to being locked up in prison, Joseph kept himself positioned for promotion. Circumstances did not determine his attitude. Rather, his attitude and perspective were what kept him bouncing back. He never gave in to self-pity, discouragement, or despair. No doubt he struggled with such things. It would be foolish to believe otherwise considering his circumstances. However, something kept positioning Joseph for breakthrough even in the midst of pits and prisons. I want you to possess what Joseph had so you can experience prosperity in every realm of your life. Let's end by considering Joseph's time in prison. Rather than surrendering to the circumstances at hand, believe that prison bars would become his long life view and that the dreams God had given him would die with him in the dungeon. He exemplified a different spirit. In the midst of his imprisonment, Joseph was willing to be a blessing to others. He continued to steward his gifts, even when he could not see the full picture. He continued to be a man of excellence, even when his surroundings were horrific. This is unusual, and I believe that for you to experience unusual prosperity, you must resolve to be an unusual person. You make unusual decisions. You steward finances unusually when measured next to how friends, family, and the rest of society is treating money. Remember, extraordinary decisions give birth to extraordinary results. Be okay with being unusual and trust God's wisdom when it comes to stewarding finances. Today, according to 3 John 2, I wish all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. I give you my reflection questions. What do you think it means to have an unusual or extraordinary spirit? How did Joseph exemplify this in his life? And another one, how does having an unusual spirit position you to have a different approach to finances and prosperity? Consider the example of Egypt during the years of plenty and season of famine. And another one is, in what ways can practicing the Joseph principle cause you to become an instrument of blessing and refreshing for others? Here are my action steps. Success always comes when preparations meets opportunities. Think about how you can choose to have an excellent spirit. This is not something that people are naturally born with. It is a consistent and decisive choice. It is normal for people to crumble under their circumstances. As a result, many do not end up stepping into their destiny, enjoying the prosperous life that God has for them. God is willing. The problem is that we see oppositions as fatal. Thus, it becomes so. If Joseph had this perspective, his dream would have died in the pit. But no, it survived the pit, Potiphar's house and prison, ultimately bringing an entire nation into abundance. Never underestimate the power of having an excellent spirit. This is what positions you to experience the extraordinary, living beyond what is usually and ordinary. My dear ones, keep up the good spirit. Yes, we go through trials. Yes, we go to suffering. Yes, we go to circumstances that we don't like. But how is our spirit? How? I would encourage you to make that difference. Be that extraordinary spirit. Be that different one. Go and make the difference. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yeti. Bye.